Raamdeo Agrawal now joins in to discuss the numbers of Motilal Oswal in greater detail. Raamdeo, great to have you with us. Thanks so much for joining in. Now, taking a look at your numbers this time around, you have seen that the profits as well as the revenues have shown a good growth on a sequential basis as well as year on year.
Yeah.
What have been the key drivers and highlights this quarter?
Yeah, so it's been a good quarter, and actually, the impact of political change, which has impacted 2 out of 3 months. So I would think that this is a result for 2.5 months. The next quarter will be the actually full quarter kind of result. Second thing is that the brokerages typically are the early bird types. I mean, it is an advanced warning system for the economy and for the shape of things to come in terms of corporate earnings growth, and even interest rates. How the interest rates are going to move. And somewhere we feel that investor confidence, the animal spirit in the domestic investors are kind of coming back, and we have seen participation increasing from the retail as well as HNIs. And that has been the main reason for change in the revenues. So we have seen the mix of business changing. Overall volumes have increased, and the mix of business has tilted towards cash, and that's why there is a almost 10% pickup in the yield in brokerage yield in the volume. So, and we have seen in the asset management business record inflow of the assets, though we are very small in that. Still the inflow has started, which has been a big change in the last 3-4 years. That's been a good starting point for the asset management. iBanking, which was almost dry. I mean, there was a large pipeline, but we were not able to close deals. Now we are seeing some traction in there. So that is also turning around. So all in all the businesses have seen positive traction, but revenues have been positively impacted by brokerages largely.
Raamdeo, morning. Congratulations, a strong quarter. Like you said, brokerages have the brokerage business has been very strong, but the AMC business, I just want to touch upon that. So even as the assets under management have been increasing, the AMC fee has shown a bit of a dip. This quarter, I think 18 crores versus 23 crores in the previous quarter. What do you think is going to is this number going to look like in the coming quarters, and what will be driving it ahead?
Yeah, so what happens is that 18 versus 23 is not the right comparison, because in Q4 you have a lot of performance fees. In PMS you have performance driven kind of mandates. So those performance fees are calculated on 31st March. So there was 7-8 crores of that fees into the AMC. So that is not comparable. But otherwise, if you remove the performance fees, then clearly there must be 10-15% growth in the AMC fees. So as we go along, we'll get sequentially higher and higher fees from the asset management, and culminating into in March 15, if index remains higher than March 14, which I think it should be, we'll have another round of performance fees. So I think all the businesses are finding traction, and hopefully we'll do better in the quarters ahead.
Raamdeo, you have the asset management fees, and apart from that, which we flagged off, but some fund-based income also, that has remained flat for the company. What's the reason for that, and what's the outlook on the loan growth and profits in this segment?
Yeah, so there are two buckets of fund-based business. One is we help the clients with some amount of funding. So that portion has kind of grown, and hence there is a income from that. Second is the prop money going into fixed income. That we have withdrawn, and almost 230 or 240 crores has been put into equity mutual funds, and they are all products of AMC, and so it has been used as a seed money for some of the new funds. And there, what has happened is that earlier we used to have fixed income for the quarter. That has stopped, and almost 30-40 crores of accumulated gains, 30 crores of accumulated gain has remained in the balance sheet, unbooked in the P&L. So to that extent, there is a kind of depression of earnings. I mean, we have not shown any of those 30 crores into the P&L. So as we go along, maybe in next quarters or next end of the year or something, some amount of money might find its place into the P&L. But that is what is keeping the treasury gain, limited.
Right, and Raamdeo, even as you're speaking, the stock's picking up volumes as well and is up now a good 5%. Another segment that you've entered into is the affordable home financing segment. I think your brand called Aspire Home Finance is what you're now going to be also focusing on. Can you give us a sense of how big do you see this particular segment of the market, and how much of this pie are you looking to tap, and what's its contribution going to be in FY15 most likely?
Yeah, so this is a new venture, and we have seeded this. Looking at the prospect of housing finance in this country, we have decided to seed this company with about 100-150 crores kind of equity right now, and it takes some time for the initial team to stabilize the business model, which will be next 12 months or so. We have started already disbursing. From last month we have started disbursing for the loans. So the ambition always remains very big, but it all depends on the leadership team, which I am hopeful that they will deliver in big way. So I think we'll watch for another year or so for the business model to stabilize, and then we'll further bolster the equity base and make it a large format housing finance company. And so, but I think in housing finance company, because the spread is very thin and it's a balance sheet driven business, it takes a lot of time. It takes 5-7 years to get worthwhile size. So I don't think in first 1 or 2 years it is going to make any difference to the P&L of this company. But in 5-7 years time, I think I would, maybe even 10 years time, 5 to 7 years time, it will make a huge difference to the bottom line. But right now, I think the impact will be very, very limited.
Raamdeo, appreciate you taking the time out and joining in first on ET Now with a view on your numbers and the road ahead for the company. Okay, and the stock, as we flagged off, is also clearly seeing quite a bit of a move, and the counter is currently at the day's high based on that management commentary, 257.9 for a Motilal Oswal. A large trade has taken place.